There's something nobody tells you about building wealth, and it's probably going to frustrate you when you hear it. The people who accumulate serious money over their lifetimes aren't necessarily smarter than you. They didn't crack some secret code. They didn't have insider information or magical timing. What they had was the discipline to avoid repeating the same wealth-destroying behaviors that trap most people in financial mediocrity for decades. Think about it this way. Every financial decision you make is either moving you closer to independence or quietly stealing years from your future. And the frustrating part is that most of the damage happens so slowly you don't notice until it's almost too late. The wealthy understand something fundamental that escapes most people. Building lasting wealth isn't about making brilliant moves. It's about consistently not making terrible ones. That distinction matters more than any investment strategy you'll ever learn. Because one catastrophic financial mistake can erase a decade of smart decisions, while avoiding that same mistake costs you nothing and protects everything you've built. Let me walk you through the patterns I've observed over years of studying both successful wealth builders and those who perpetually struggle despite good incomes and genuine effort. These aren't small errors that shave a few percentage points off your returns. These are fundamental mistakes that can delay your financial goals by 10, 20, sometimes 30 years. And the tragedy is that most people don't recognize they're making them until they're in their 50s or 60s, looking back with regret at all the time they wasted. The first pattern that separates wealth builders from everyone else is how they acquire knowledge. Most people approach financial education backwards. They learn exclusively through personal experience, which sounds reasonable until you realize how expensive and slow that method actually is. Every mistake you make personally costs you real money and real time. But here's what the wealthy figured out. You can study other people's disasters and extract the lessons without paying the tuition. Think about every major financial crisis in history. The patterns repeat with remarkable consistency. Different names, different technologies, different marketing, but the underlying psychology and mechanics are nearly identical. The people who lose everything in bubbles aren't experiencing something new. They're repeating mistakes that have been documented for centuries. Meanwhile, the people who preserve and grow their wealth during these periods are the ones who studied what happened before and recognized the warning signs early. This means reading about failures more than successes. Understanding how smart people with good intentions destroyed their finances gives you a mental library of red flags to watch for. When you see similar patterns emerging in your own situation, you can act before the damage occurs. You compress decades of painful lessons into weeks of focused study. The information is freely available. Case studies of every major investment disaster, every fraudulent scheme, every bubble and crash, all documented in detail by people who lived through them. The only question is whether you're willing to study that history or insist on learning everything the hard way. The second pattern involves understanding, specifically, the relationship between understanding and investment decisions. Wealth builders have a non-negotiable rule that seems almost too simple. They don't invest in things they can't explain clearly and specifically. Not just a general sense of what something is, but a detailed understanding of how it works, how it generates value, and what could cause it to fail. This principle protects you from an enormous amount of risk. When you can't articulate how an investment makes money, you're not making an informed decision. You're following a trend or trusting someone else's judgment without any ability to evaluate whether that trust is warranted. And when things go wrong, which they often do with complex investments, you have no framework for deciding whether to hold or exit. You're completely dependent on external opinions, which means you'll probably panic at exactly the wrong time. The test is straightforward. Can you explain your investment to someone with no financial background in a way that makes complete sense? If you need jargon, complex diagrams, or phrases like, "You just have to trust the process," you don't understand it well enough to own it. The most successful long-term investments are usually the ones you can describe in 2 sentences. A business that sells products people buy repeatedly and generates consistent profit. That's understandable. That's investable. Anything that requires a white paper and specialized vocabulary to justify should make you extremely cautious. This doesn't mean you'll never miss opportunities. You absolutely will. Some things you don't understand will perform spectacularly, but you'll also avoid the spectacular failures. And in wealth building, avoiding catastrophic losses matters more than capturing every gain. One total wipeout can destroy what took you years to build. Missing an opportunity you didn't understand costs you nothing except potential upside you never had anyway. The third pattern is about time perspective, and this one challenges almost everything modern culture teaches you about success. Wealth builders think in decades, not months or years. They've internalized something that sounds obvious but is incredibly difficult to practice. Real wealth accumulates slowly through compound growth, not through spectacular short-term wins. This creates a fundamental conflict with human psychology. We're wired to want immediate results. We see someone make substantial returns quickly, and we feel genuine distress at being left behind. That emotional response drives irrational behavior. We abandon sound long-term strategies to chase whatever's hot right now. We trade constantly, trying to catch every move. We take excessive risk because moderate returns feel inadequate compared to what we hear others are achieving. But here's the mathematical reality that most people ignore. Consistent moderate returns sustained over long periods create extraordinary wealth. A 20% annual return for 30 years turns modest contributions into life-changing money. It's not exciting to discuss. It doesn't make for impressive social media posts. It requires patience that feels almost painful in the early years when progress seems invisible. But it works with mathematical certainty if you don't quit or sabotage yourself chasing better short-term results. The people who actually build significant wealth aren't the ones making aggressive moves and posting screenshots of their gains. They're the ones quietly holding quality investments for decades, reinvesting dividends, ignoring market noise, and letting time do the heavy lifting. They accepted years ago that wealth building is supposed to be boring. The excitement seekers are still jumping between strategies, still searching for the shortcut, still wondering why they're not getting ahead despite all their activity and effort. The fourth pattern concerns portfolio construction, and it's probably the most misunderstood aspect of investing. The conventional wisdom says to diversify extensively. Own many different investments across multiple categories to spread your risk. Sounds prudent, right? But wealth builders approach this completely differently. They concentrate their holdings in a small number of investments they understand deeply, rather than spreading themselves thin across dozens of positions they can't possibly monitor effectively. Think about what happens when you own 50 different stocks. You cannot possibly research 50 businesses thoroughly. You don't have time to read 50 annual reports, follow 50 management teams, understand 50 competitive landscapes. So you're not really investing based on knowledge and conviction. You're essentially trying to build your own index fund, except you're doing more work, paying more in fees and taxes, and probably getting worse results because you'll inevitably make mistakes choosing and timing those 50 positions. The smarter approach is to identify a small number of truly exceptional opportunities that you understand completely. Businesses with sustainable competitive advantages, competent management, and economics that make sense. Then concentrate your capital in those few positions and hold them as long as the fundamental thesis remains intact. This requires conviction, which only comes from deep understanding. But it also allows you to actually benefit from superior judgment, rather than diluting good decisions with mediocre ones. If you genuinely don't have the time, interest, or skill to research individual companies deeply, that's completely fine. Just own a broad market index fund and stop pretending you're adding value through stock selection. There's no shame in accepting that indexing is the better choice for you. The shame is in owning dozens of positions you don't understand, underperforming the market, and wasting time and money in the process. Pick your lane and commit to it. The fifth pattern involves fees and taxes, which sounds tedious but represents one of the biggest differentiators between those who build wealth and those who spin their wheels. Small ongoing costs that seem insignificant in isolation compound into enormous amounts over time. A single percentage point in annual fees might not feel meaningful year to year, but over decades it can literally cost you hundreds of thousands in lost wealth. The math is brutal when you actually calculate it. Identical investment strategies with identical gross returns but different fee structures will produce wildly different outcomes over 30 or 40 years. The high-fee option doesn't just cost you the fees themselves. It costs you all the compound growth you would have earned on that money if it had stayed in your account. You're not losing a small amount annually. You're losing that amount plus everything that amount would have grown into over the remaining years. Taxes work the same way. Every time you sell an investment for a gain, you trigger a tax liability. That tax payment is money that cannot continue compounding for you. Frequent trading means frequent tax events, which means more of your capital is continuously being drained away to the government instead of working for your future. Long-term holders avoid this by not selling. They let their investments compound tax-deferred for decades, only paying when they actually need to access the money. The wealthy obsess over minimizing these costs because they understand that controlling what you pay in fees and taxes is completely within your power, whereas controlling investment returns is not. You can't predict or control market performance, but you absolutely can control whether you use low-cost index funds or expensive actively managed funds. You can control whether you trade constantly or hold for years. Those decisions, compounded over time, often matter more than the specific investments you choose. The sixth pattern addresses the psychological dimension of wealth building, which is where most people ultimately fail despite understanding everything else. Your emotions will constantly push you toward destructive decisions. Fear will tell you to sell during crashes. Greed will tell you to buy during bubbles. Impatience will tell you to abandon working strategies because they're not producing results fast enough. And if you follow those emotional impulses, you'll sabotage yourself repeatedly, no matter how sound your strategy is. The solution isn't to suppress emotions, which is impossible. It's to create rules and systems that prevent emotions from influencing your decisions. This means establishing your investment approach during calm, rational moments, then following those predetermined rules during emotional periods when your judgment is compromised. Write down your principles. Define exactly what you'll do during various market conditions. Then execute those plans mechanically, regardless of how you feel in the moment. This is incredibly difficult in practice. When markets are crashing and financial news is predicting catastrophe and your portfolio is down substantially, every instinct screams at you to do something to stop the pain. Similarly, when markets are booming and everyone around you is making money and you're missing opportunities, the pressure to abandon your discipline feels overwhelming. But those are precisely the moments when following your predetermined rules matters most. The people who build lasting wealth are the ones who can override their emotional impulses and stick to their strategy during both extremes. Understanding this psychological dimension is what separates theoretical knowledge from practical success. You can know everything about investing and still fail if you can't control your emotional responses to market volatility and social pressure. The wealthy aren't necessarily less emotional. They've just built better systems for preventing emotions from sabotaging their financial futures. The seventh and final pattern might be the most important, and it's the one that determines whether everything else matters. The people who actually build significant wealth simply don't quit. They maintain their approach consistently for decades, through boring periods, through disappointing periods, through periods when alternative strategies seem to be working better for others. They understand that compound growth works slowly at first and accelerates dramatically over time, but only if you give it enough time to work. This is where most people fail. They try investing for a few years, don't see dramatic results, and conclude it doesn't work. So they abandon their strategy and try something else. Then that doesn't produce quick results either, so they try another approach. They spend their entire lives jumping between strategies, never giving any single approach enough time to actually demonstrate its long-term effectiveness. They're constantly restarting the compounding process, which means they never reach the phase where growth accelerates and becomes truly meaningful. The reality is that building substantial wealth through investing takes decades, not years. The first 10 years often feel frustratingly slow. Your portfolio grows, but not nearly as fast as you hoped or expected. It's tempting to conclude you're doing something wrong or missing out on better opportunities. But if you maintain discipline through that slow phase, something remarkable happens. The next 10 years produce growth that feels dramatic because you're no longer just earning returns on your contributions. You're earning returns on years of accumulated returns. The snowball effect becomes visible and powerful. But you only reach that phase by not quitting during the slow phase. Every time you abandon a sound strategy because it's not producing results fast enough, you reset the clock. You go back to the beginning of the compound growth curve, where progress feels painfully slow. The people who build lasting wealth are simply the ones who picked a reasonable strategy and stuck with it long enough for the mathematics of compound growth to work. They didn't have secret knowledge or superior intelligence. They had persistence and patience that outlasted the majority who gave up. So here's what this all comes down to. Building wealth isn't primarily about finding the perfect investments or timing the market brilliantly. It's about avoiding the consistent mistakes that destroy most people's financial progress. Study others' failures so you don't repeat them. Only invest in things you genuinely understand. Think in decades, not months. Concentrate in quality rather than diversifying into mediocrity. Minimize fees and taxes relentlessly. Create systems that prevent emotions from sabotaging your decisions. And above all, maintain your approach long enough for compound growth to actually work its magic. None of this is exciting or complicated. That's actually the point. The path to financial independence is supposed to be straightforward and boring. If your strategy feels thrilling or requires constant attention, you're probably making it harder than it needs to be and introducing unnecessary risk. The people who succeed financially are the ones who accepted long ago that wealth building is a marathon of consistent, disciplined behavior, not a sprint of brilliant decisions. If you found value in this perspective, consider subscribing for more content on wealth building principles that actually work over time. Leave a comment sharing which of these patterns you're working on improving in your own financial life. And if you know someone who could benefit from thinking about their finances differently, share this with them. Building wealth is largely about thinking clearly and acting patiently, and sometimes we all need reminders to stay focused on what actually matters for long-term success.